My 10-year-old daughter almost died after my family abandoned her. Mondays are supposed to start slow. Mine began with a jammed printer, someone crying in the bathroom, and a cup of coffee that tasted like pen ink. I was just deciding to fake optimism for one more meeting when my phone lit up. Unknown number, local area code. Normally I'd let it go to voicemail, but something in my gut said, pick up. Hello? Is this Ingrid Taylor? A calm female voice asked. Yes. This is St. Anoni's Medical Center. We have your daughter, Piper Taylor. She's stable now, but she had what appears to be a severe allergic reaction. My chair scraped back. What? She's alert and talking, but we'd like you to come right away. Do you know where we're located? Yes. All right. Drive carefully, please. Ask for the pediatric unit when you arrive. Click. For a second, I just stood there, phone still pressed to my ear. The world had gone too quiet. Then I grabbed my bag, my keys, and moved. Not thinking, just moving. In the elevator, my hands wouldn't stop shaking. I told myself it was adrenaline, not fear. Told myself stable meant safe, but my heart knew better. The highway blurred. The GPS voice was calm and polite, guiding me through a panic attack. Turn left in 2 miles, it said, like that was the hardest part of my day. I called my mother. Voicemail. Dad. Voicemail. Finally, my sister picked up. Helena. Ingrid, you should see this water. It looks like glass. Dad's wearing socks in his sandals again. She was laughing, kids shouting in the background. So you're all together? Yep. Gavin's building some fortress, Lydia's stealing flags, total chaos. And Piper? My mouth felt dry. Helena hesitated, just a beat too long. She's fine. Fine where? At the hotel, she said quickly. She wasn't in the mood for breakfast. You know how she gets headaches, stomach, whatever? Mom said she could stay and cool off. It's no big deal. She didn't want to come or she couldn't. Ingrid, please don't start. She said her throat felt weird and it turned into a whole thing. Mom gave her a choice. So when you left, she was in the lobby? Yeah, sitting by the big plant. The guy at the desk knows us. I pressed my thumb into the steering wheel until it hurt. Helena, the hospital called me. Silence. They said she had a severe allergic reaction. She's there now. No, she said automatically. She does this. She makes it a thing. And then she couldn't breathe, I said. When she finally spoke again, her voice was small. Mom said, "Are you sure?" I'm on my way to her. Ingrid, wait. But I hung up. For miles, I drove like the road might explain itself if I stared hard enough. Sunlight flashed off windshields, the world still following its rules while mine tilted sideways. By the time I reached St. Anoni's, my pulse was thudding behind my eyes. Inside, too much light, too much white. A nurse looked up. You're Piper Taylor's mom? Yes. She's doing okay now. Room 203. I didn't wait for directions. Piper was sitting up, pale and glassy-eyed, an oxygen tube under her nose. When she saw me, her lip trembled. Mom. Hey, sweetheart. I told them I couldn't breathe, she whispered. They didn't believe me. My throat closed. Who didn't? Grandma and Helena. They said I was making a scene. Grandma said if I kept it up, I'd have to stay behind. Then they went. I brushed her hair from her forehead. You did everything right. A doctor came in, Dr. Layton. She's stable now, he said. It was a strong reaction, probably a new allergy. She's lucky the staff acted fast. Lucky. That word again. If not for a stranger at the front desk, my daughter would be a headline. When she finally slept, I stepped into the hall. My phone buzzed. Dad. Ingrid, he said, already exasperated. Helena tells us you're making a fuss. She was having an allergic reaction, I said. You left her. Oh, for heaven's sake. You know how she exaggerates. She stopped breathing. He sighed, annoyed. Well, she's fine now, isn't she? No harm done. No harm done, I repeated. My voice sounded strange. You could have killed her. You always overreact. We raised you better than that. The call ended. I stared at my reflection in the corridor glass. Then, without meaning to, I laughed. A small, cracked sound. They'd taught me that silence was strength. Fine. They were about to learn what silence sounds like when it stops protecting them. 3 hours later, their lives started to unravel. If you want to understand why my family could leave a 10-year-old gasping for air in a hotel lobby, you have to start decades earlier, back when being tough was the only religion we practiced. We lived on a patch of land outside town where the paint peeled faster than you could reapply it. My parents called it character. What they really meant was, don't complain. When I was 6, I fell off my bike and scraped my knee open. Mom sighed. You'll live. Dad added, if you can talk, you can walk. That was lesson 1. Silence earns you survival. Helena absorbed it perfectly. She could bleed and smile through it. She wore her toughness like armor and demanded everyone else do the same. By 16, I'd mastered invisibility. I smiled on cue, kept my voice low, and apologized for existing. When I left home, it wasn't rebellion, it was escape. I got a job in HR. Turns out managing my family had trained me to manage people. Helena stayed close, married a safe man, and turned the old farmhouse into a bed and breakfast. Mom and Dad were ecstatic. Our girls are so successful, they'd say, meaning her. She'd call sometimes. Can you help with the website? Cover a bill until tourist season? I'd say yes, because habit is hard to break. Travis, my husband, used to say, you don't owe them anything. I know, I'd reply, and send the money anyway. Then Piper was born. I held her and thought, you will never have to apologize for existing. Mom called that soft parenting. Helena called it coddling. Dad called it nonsense. I called it love. Still, family gravity pulls you back. Holidays, birthdays, polite smiles. Piper's sensitive, Mom would say, the way some people say tax audit. Piper would look at me, waiting for rescue. I'd squeeze her hand under the table. Then came Helena's call about the trip. 3 days at the coast! The kids will love it! I hesitated. Piper's got soccer. Oh, come on. Family time. Mom and Dad are getting older. I looked at Piper, practically vibrating with excitement. Yes, I said, and almost believed it would be fine. The night before, Piper packed twice. Do you think Grandma will like the bracelet I made her? She'll love it, I said, lying through my smile. When they drove off, I waved until the car disappeared. I didn't know I'd just handed her to the same lesson that raised me. Feelings are lies. Pain is drama, and silence keeps the peace. That's how we got here. At the hospital, I watched Piper sleep under white sheets. The doctor's words looped. Another 10 minutes, and the outcome could have been very different. Different, as in dead. That's what toughness buys you. A child who nearly dies while everyone else takes selfies on the beach. I walked into the hall, calm as a storm before lightning. Do you have the local police number? I asked the nurse. She blinked, handed me a card. Everything okay? Not even close, I called. Gave them names, times, hotel, everything. You sure you want to file against family? The dispatcher asked. I'm sure, I said. They made that choice first. When I hung up, I canceled the small payment I sent my parents each month. My ceremonial tithe for being the good daughter, no more. By morning, Piper was stable enough to go home. 2 hours of silence later, my phone exploded. Mom, Dad, Helena. I let it ring once before answering. Ingrid, Mom's voice trembled. What have you done? You called the police on your own parents, Dad barked. You've ruined everything, Helena cried. You didn't even talk to us first. I did, I said. You called me hysterical. Remember? Ingrid, you're overreacting, Dad snapped. She's fine now, Helena added. Why can't you just drop it? Because she wasn't fine yesterday. Silence. Then Mom started crying. Dad hung up. For the first time in my life, the quiet was mine. I didn't shout. I took action. For 2 days, I thought the storm had passed. Piper's color returned. The world seemed still. Then a coworker texted me a link. Local B&B owners, named in police inquiry after child's hospitalization. I clicked. Police confirmed an investigation into a neglect incident involving the Taylor family of Meadow Ridge. The 10-year-old girl, said to be a relative, was treated for a severe allergic reaction after being left at a nearby resort. They'd released their names. Not mine, but they didn't have to. By noon, we were trending. Helena called first. "Ingrid, what have you done? They used our names. The business might be shut down." I read it, I said. "Fix this. Call the reporter. Tell them it was a misunderstanding." I don't fix reality. "You don't even care what this is doing to us." "You mean compared to what you did to Piper?" She hung up. 10 minutes later, Mom. "Reporters are calling the house. Guests are canceling. Your father's blood pressure." "Maybe he should try empathy," I said. "It lowers stress." "Ingrid, please. People make mistakes." "Some mistakes end with funerals. You got lucky." She sobbed. I let her finish, then hung up. By evening, headlights crawled up the driveway. Of course they came. Dad's jaw was clenched. "You need to fix this." "Evening to you, too." Mom wrung her hands. "Sweetheart, people are saying awful things. You know how gossip spreads." "I do," I said. "Usually after someone does something awful." Helena's eyes were red. "We'll lose everything. Guests are canceling. People think we're monsters." "Accuracy at last." Mom's voice cracked. "We made a mistake. Everyone does." "Some mistakes end with funerals," I repeated. "You got lucky." Dad barked. "You're enjoying this." "If this is payback, it's the slowest revenge in history." I just told the truth. Helena whispered, "Please, tell them it was blown out of proportion." "Piper's fine," I said. "Thanks to strangers. Not family?" Dad's face darkened. "You owe us." "For what? The childhood trauma package or the monthly payments I already canceled?" They froze. "I don't owe you silence anymore." When Ohm began to cry, Helena whispered, "You're cruel." "Maybe," I said, "but at least I'm honest." I closed the door. The next morning, another headline, "Community reacts to neglect allegations against Seaview B&B family." A photo of their sign, rain streaking the wood. Quotes from guests. "They were strict," one said. "Always prided themselves on discipline." Family members declined to comment. Good. Silence, finally serving its purpose. By lunch, their business was collapsing. Travis texted from work. "You holding up?" I typed back, "Define holding." Piper wandered into the kitchen, coloring book under her arm. "Mom, are you okay?" I looked at her, alive, safe, whole, and felt something settle deep inside me. "Yeah," I said. "I am now